Hey everyone, I am so excited to finally share with you my brand new language arts curriculum, Rabbit Trails Through Literature. So this thing's been about a year in the making because I realized that there was not a language arts that completely fit what I wanted to do in our homeschool, so I decided I'm going to make it myself. So I created Rabbit Trails with relaxed homeschooling in mind, with Charlotte Mason inspired homeschooling in mind, and just a really simple way to teach language arts and to still get some very light grammar skills, but to incorporate lots of copy work, lots of imagination, and definitely lots of flexibility in your homeschool. Because I realize that not every homeschool is going to be the same. Some people are going to be very structured and they're going to have something to do every single day. Other people might follow more of a looping schedule and they're going to say, we're going to do this today, but then if we don't get it done because life takes us down our own rabbit trails, then that's okay because we can push that off to tomorrow and spread out those different topics and those different subjects. And so that's exactly what I did in designing Rabbit Trails, is that it does not have an actual schedule laid out. So if you're looking to do school 4 or 5 days a week, you're not going to see a calendar inside of this curriculum that says you need to do lesson 1 on Monday and lesson 2 on Tuesday. It's very much open and do at your own pace. You can certainly do it in less time than I have designed. So the way I do have it laid out is that there are 16 main lessons, and every lesson is designed to take about 2 weeks. So it's a 32-week curriculum. So if you guys are going through it super fast and you get it done in a week, that's fantastic. If you're having the time in your homeschool where it's taking you 3 weeks to get through a lesson, that's fine too. And that's why I made it 32 weeks as opposed to a 36-week schedule, because I wanted you guys to have the flexibility in your homeschool, whether you are taking lots of field trips or whether you are taking a lot of time to go down some of the rabbit trails inside of this because you guys are just super hooked on a topic and you're finding even more books. That gives you the time to do that. So it's definitely very flexible. Now I do have a kind of mock schedule made up so that you can see how we laid out a lesson over 2 weeks to see how that can work in your homeschool. So you guys can find that on the website on the link for Rabbit Trails. And it'll just walk you through a little bit to give you an idea of how our 2 weeks goes through going through an entire lesson inside of Rabbit Trails. So the thing that I did with Rabbit Trails is I absolutely wanted it to include real books, and I wanted them to be amazing picture books. And so I found a lot of Caldecott winners. I found a lot of bestsellers. I found some that aren't as well known to everybody but have been favorites in our family, and the few people that I know who do know of them are like, oh my gosh, I wish more people knew about that book. So now you have the opportunity to know about it. So it has 16 books to go with the 16 lessons, and these are going to be the main books that the lessons are surrounded by. So every single lesson will have a new language arts lesson to go along with it. So it might be learning about nouns, or it might be learning about fiction and nonfiction. There's also lessons in fables and fun stuff like that. So we're going to go through what all of those are. But first I want to show off all 16 books to you so you can see the main books that are in the curriculum. So I'm going to hold them up and go through them so you guys can see each and every one. So the very first book in the curriculum is Crichter. Next one is Library Lion. A Sick Day for Amos McGee. Leaf the Lucky. The Little Island. So You Want to Be President. The Lion and the Mouse. Me, Jane. Owl Moon. Miss Twiggly's Tree. The Glorious Flight. Stand Back, Said the Elephant, I'm Going to Sneeze. Blueberries for Sal. Ask Me. What Do You Do with a Tail Like This? And last but not least, Arrow to the Sun. So I spent a lot of time going through and handpicking each and one of those books to not only go along with the different language arts topics, but also the rabbit trails. So the reason why I call this Rabbit Trails Through Literature is because each and every lesson has a rabbit trail that goes down other topics, into science, into social studies. You might be digging deeper into some language arts. So there's so much more than just language arts in this curriculum, and that's something I totally love about it. So there are two different ways to buy rabbit trails. You can buy the entire curriculum. That's the whole 16 lessons for 32 weeks. But I also left open the option to buy individual lessons as well, because if someone's like, I want to use this as a unit study and I really want to go and learn about habitats and ecosystems, there's a rabbit trail for that inside of this. So I want to show you all inside so you can get an idea of what it looks like, how a lesson works, and how it's all laid out. So let me flip ahead to the little island. That is one of my brand new favorite books from this curriculum. So every lesson starts with the picture of the book, so you know exactly which book it is that you're going to be using for that lesson. And then you are going to have all of your notes. So this is used as an instructor guide. So there is no workbook that goes along with this. It is all notebook based. So all of the work your children's going to be doing is going to be in a notebook, because it's all going to be copy work, creative writing, some very light arts and crafts with stuff that you should probably already have around the house, and things that can all be compiled in that notebook, as opposed to having a workbook, because there's not going to be a lot of busy work. We certainly are going to be focusing on naturally learning spelling through copy work, but there is not a spelling curriculum that goes along with this. There is not an actual how to read reading curriculum that goes along with this, but I'm going to show you some of the extra books that you can certainly use for learning how to read going with it too. So inside of a lesson, there's going to be two different copy works already prompted for you. One is a quote from the book that you were reading, and then the other one is a Bible verse that can somehow go along with the topic of the book. So this is considered a religious or faith-based curriculum, because I do incorporate those Bible verses, because that was something that was really important to me in my homeschool. But I have also had people who are looking for a secular curriculum and choose to just omit the Bible verse. And otherwise, this is a very faith-neutral curriculum. There's not a lot in the lessons that's going to be going into any type of religious-based lessons at all. So it's just with the Bible verses, and then everything else is just going along with really great books. And then every single lesson has the actual language arts lesson. So for this one, it's working on punctuation, specifically using periods at the end of the sentence. So it has some stuff there, some activities for you guys to do to work on punctuation and using periods. And then every lesson also has some fun. So some fun in this lesson is making a really cool mind map. So the little island is all about this little island and the ecosystem that is there and what lives there, and this cute little cat that comes and visits the island. And so the fun part of this is having your child create their own island and using a mind map to get all the different ideas out of what they would include in their island. So next we're moving on to the actual rabbit trail. So the rabbit trail for this lesson is ecosystems and habitats, because that's what the book is based around, is this whole ecosystem and this habitat that is happening at this island. And so there are other book suggestions that go along with that. There's video suggestions, and then I also include a library list for every lesson as well to dig even deeper for books that you should be able to find at your library. So that's something that was important to me, is I don't have the money to buy every single book inside of this curriculum. And so I made sure that these titles were ones that were most likely going to be able to find at your library. But that's something else that you can do in this, is it's open enough to customize it. So if you don't have these specific books at your library, you can absolutely find any other book on ecosystems or on habitats and still include it in your lesson. So these are just some starting points for other books that you can use, but absolutely use what you have on hand at home or what your library has. So that's kind of the beauty of it, is that you can make this your own at the same time, or you can do exactly what it says inside of the curriculum. Last but not least, I have a page of more ideas for every single lesson as well. So this might be more ideas for learning about the language arts part of it. It might be more ideas for copy work or creative writing. It might be more ideas for the rabbit trails, and so it's going to have more things for you to do. Some of them are field trip ideas, and some of them are craft ideas, and so there's a lot of opportunity to do more hands-on and go even further down these rabbit trails to continue your learning along with this lesson. So that's the basics of the lessons and what you're going to find inside of every one of them. So let me go through really quick and tell you what the different lessons are so that you can get an idea of what you're going to be learning in language arts and also what you're going to be learning with the rabbit trails. So for language arts, you are going to be going through nouns, verbs, capitalization, periods, fables, fiction and nonfiction, parts of a book, rhyming, exclamation points, onomatopoeias, question marks, and writing questions. And then there are 3 review sections as well. So there's going to be 3 different lessons throughout the book where you have the opportunity to go back and review those language arts lessons and topics so that you're not just learning them and then not doing anything with them again. So you have those opportunities to bring them back up, to review them, to go over anything that your child might need some help with. And you also have a little bit more with the rabbit trails that week, in that the rabbit trails are going to be more based on what those books are, because the books are such great topics that you can go into rabbit trails down those. So the different rabbit trails that go in the book are snakes, libraries, zoos, Vikings, ecosystems, presidents, fables, the rainforest, owls, hurricanes, flight, germs, plant life cycles, family, animal senses, and Native Americans. So there are a lot of topics you're going to be going down while doing all of these rabbit trails. So that's what I absolutely love, is you can be practicing your capitalization while learning about presidents, or you can be learning about hurricanes when you're reading about this sweet old lady who lives in a tree. And so there's just some really cute ways of incorporating all of these different ideas inside of these lessons so that you can see how you can combine these subjects very, very easily in your homeschool. And it's just the natural way of continuing this education, that language arts doesn't have to be some boring thing off by the side by itself. It can absolutely be part of this rich learning experience where kids do truly love to learn. So Rabbit Trails Through Literature is for elementary school students. So I designed this to be used for grades 1 through 5. So it is not a first grade curriculum or a second grade curriculum. You can use this for any child, grades 1 through 5. I know families who are using it for their kids everywhere from 4 years old to 13 years old. Because it is so customizable. So for littler kids, you're obviously not going to be focusing as much on the handwriting aspect of it, but you can absolutely start introducing all of these wonderful books and all of these fun rabbit trails. And for older children, people are just incorporating longer copy works because you can absolutely pull more from those books and pull more from those Bible verses. And then they're also just expecting a little bit longer for the creative writing and all of that, and maybe a little bit deeper going into these rabbit trails. And so it's absolutely doable to do this with multiple students because it is not a workbook. So you just need one of these for your entire family. And it's absolutely doable to, go down those rabbit trails and use those for your social studies or your science lessons for those couple of weeks and say, this is what we're focusing on right now. So it really is an all-in-one. This is just one volume. I do plan on making more volumes. I plan on releasing volume 2 next spring, so spring 2021. And I plan on making 5 volumes so that it will cover, if you start in first grade using this, it will cover you 1st through 5th grade, and you will have a curriculum to get you through elementary school. So let me make sure I didn't forget anything in this. I don't think so. I'm looking through my notes and I think I covered everything. If you guys have any questions about rabbit trails, please let me know. You guys can follow me on Facebook or on Instagram. There's a contact form on my website. There's also a Q&A on the webpage for rabbit trails as well, if you guys want to look in there and see if there's any questions I already answered, if I didn't cover them in the video. But I am so excited for you guys to get this and to look inside of it and to do it with your families. And I hope that it blesses your families as much as it's blessed mine, because we have just had so much fun. And it's really made that love of learning come alive in our house. So I hope it does the same for you guys, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. Thanks so much.